Hey there, it's Elizabeth, and welcome back to the sixth installment of my series in how I go about altering a composition book to use for my Fauxbonichi. This is probably going to be the last in the series, I think. The video that I showed you before this one, it was on this page, and I kind of was telling you about what I was going to do with this page, so this morning I sat down and did it. And so the next thing in my process, if you'll notice, which in the last video I said the same thing, this is the 5th and the 6th of July, these pages are. Now, today is the 13th of July, okay? And I still do not have these pages done, okay? I've only completed up to July 4th. What I do is I work on several pages at a time. There have been questions on the site about, how do you find the time? Not specifically to me, just general questions, but, how do you find the time? Things like that. And for me personally, and my process of doing this, I do not work on it daily. I've said it before. I work on several pages at a time. They're all in varying stages of completion. I do what I can when I can. I do have daily entries. However, I don't work on it daily. I work on it when I can. So this morning I had some free time and everyone's sleeping and it's quiet morning until my dogs start barking, but we won't even go there. So this is how I do my process, okay? The last video you saw, all I had was the note paper on here. So I put some pictures in, I put stickers in, I did my journaling in pencil. I will then go back and do all of this in pen, probably using my Flair pens, and then I will go back in as the last step and use my colored pencils to color everything in, to color all the backgrounds in. And like on these pages here, I color the backgrounds like this here after I've put everything down. Coloring in the backgrounds is my very last step, and I color right over the paint pen, I color right over the Flair pen, I color right over everything with my colored pencils. So let's see. So this is what I'm working on. Again, today's the 13th and I'm still back in the 5th. Then I worked on this spread today as well this morning. I've spent a lot of time in my art room this morning. And so again, I do all of my clip art and I put my clip art in. I always like to do titles or headlines like in a newspaper, kind of. I just do. I don't know. I just like to. I like to title things about what I'm going to be writing about. So put my clip art in. The next step, of course, is to use my paint pens and use my Flair pens and write everything in. Over here, I did the same thing. I got this really pretty clipping from a magazine because my husband had gone fishing again. Put some cute little stickers on here, wrote about how I was journaling while he was out fishing that day. And then for the rest of it all that I still have yet to do, obviously I have to do these headers up here. So the 9th and the 10th, Saturday, Sunday. And then I have, what I've done is along with the Post-it notes, I have now, because I got back from I say vacation, it was really a staycation. So, we left our house, we went down to our weekend home. So we were still at our house, but just at the different house. And so we had some home repairs we needed to do there. And, and then when we can, we try to go out in the boat, have friends down, all that fun vacation-y kind of stuff. So anyhow, when I got back home, I don't have a printer at the other house. So when I got home, I was able to print out all of my clip art. So once I have the Post-its and I see what we did, okay, Big Handsome, I wrote, Big Handsome went out fishing. He caught a sailfish, but there were no pictures. So I simply found a clip art of a sailfish. Then we went to a restaurant for lunch. So I went and found this online, the name of the restaurant, and I'll put that on there. The kids discovered Pokemon Go. Apparently, it's a very popular game. My kids love it. So they were playing that as we were going to lunch. And then what we're watching on Netflix currently. So that's how I do it. Basically, I just, I take from what I've written down and then I do my clip art. Now, my next step would be, obviously to go through here and put my clip art in, how I think the composition would look nice. So I will go ahead and put my clip art in. And what I do usually is I go from top to bottom, meaning morning to evening. I don't know why. That's just how I do it. You do it any way you want to do it. But that's how I do it. It just makes sense to me. So in the morning, my husband went fishing. In the afternoon, we went to a restaurant. My kids played, this Pokemon Go thing. And then in the evening, we had a Netflix marathon of Blue Bloods. Okay, so I will paste all of this down. Then I'll go in and write my headlines about how Big Handsome went fishing and how we went to lunch and how the kids are crazy for Pokemon Go now and how we did a marathon. Okay, so I keep all of this stuff together until I'm ready to work on it. And I do the same thing here. We came home. So home again, jiggity jig. That's just something my mother would always say. Like when we were going home from someplace, we'd pile into the car and she'd say, home again, jiggity jig. So I printed that out. It was just a fun memory of my mom. And I woke up to having 500 subscribers. I told you that the last time. And so again, I want to thank you all so much for your support. It's so sweet. And so now what I'm doing is going through and I have clip art here, okay, and various things that I am going to be using in my book. So my next step is, I know this is exciting for you to see me cutting, but my next step is to go ahead, excuse me, there's Fred, is to cut out, loosely, I don't really fussy cut all that much. I mean, however, I hope you can see this. I hope you can see me cutting a piece of paper. But yeah, I don't really, it comes out how it comes out. I don't try very hard on this particular thing. Oh, I heard a door, so one of my kids might be up. Yep. Which is lovely because it's 10:30 in the morning. And they need to get up. So anyhow, yeah, so I go around. This clip art here is actually for today. Oh my gosh, because this is how I feel today. Let me tell you what, I feel like this lady right here, and I need a little wind-up thing in my back so somebody can come and crank some energy into me. So once I've cut her out, then I go, and of course I haven't dated the pages yet, but I do have sticky notes. So let's see. This was Tuesday. Where are we? What is today? Today's Wednesday. Wednesday the 13th. Okay. So what I then do, this is not stuck on here, right? What I then do is I go and I'll put this here because this will go on this page. Okay. Because this is how I feel. Because, oh my heavens to Betsy, I was up. I don't think I went to sleep until about 10:30 last night or something. And then I woke up at midnight. I woke up at 2. I woke up at 3 when my husband's alarm went off to go to work at 3 a.m. Then I woke up at 5. I woke up at 6. And I finally got out of bed at 7. It was just a horrible night. Anyway, okay. Then I go through my clip art. Now what I do is when they're like square like this, because I'm a spaz, I just use my, cutter outer thing here, whatever it's called. I don't know. What is this thing called? A paper cutter? And funny, I should mention, what is this thing called? This says here, I don't know if you can see it or not. I'll bring it closer. See? Okay. It says Lethologica. Okay, it's supposed to be like some word of the day. I had seen it online and I just thought it was so funny. Well, funny, not funny if you get my drift, you know. But it's the inability to remember a word or put your finger on the right word. Hello? Life story right here. Okay? So I thought that was funny. Because I've said before, I mean, like, if you don't have humor about things, what do you have? Okay. So I was going to put this somewhere, and now I can't. Oh, I'm going to put it there today. I'm going to put it on today's, because I'm going to mention that I have this. Okay. And then I have this. You are about to exceed the limits of my medication. Holy cow. Oh my gosh. Too funny, if you ask me. Sad but funny. And this had to do with the other day. My husband was making some flight arrangements for my kids. And I don't know. He was just having a hard time with it. He was getting so frustrated, the poor thing. You know what? I'm going to cut this out this way. He was getting so frustrated. So anyway, yeah, he was being all crabby and snarky and stuff. And so I was just like, you're stressing me out, dude. You are stressing me out. Because he was stressed out. So yeah, I thought that was funny. Not that he was stressed out, but just that, yeah, he was fixing to exceed the limits of my medication that day. I'll tell you what. I love him to bits, but you know what? Being chronically ill, and I mean him being chronically ill, it can really make you crabby at times. That's just the way it is. Okay, so let's see, where does this go? This goes back here because he was doing it on the weekend. Yeah, because I wrote here, you're stressing me out, man. So that goes on there. So I put that there. And then let's see. And then here, yeah, I just have some things about hot flashes because those are always fun to talk about. And migraine. I was having a terrible migraine. In fact, I had a headache from Sunday night. Monday it was pretty bad. Tuesday it was okay. We had an eye appointment. And so I'm going to use this I hope that's not glary, an eye stamp, you know, because we had an eye appointment. And I saved my memorabilia as well. So that, I guess, you know, I'm just trying to show you like how I organize stuff, I guess, and how I do it. So yesterday, yeah, we had an eye appointment. And then these are the funky, you know, glasses they give you after they dilate your eyes. My kids were mortified. But anyway, so I'm going to probably stick this in here with some washi tape, and then I'll take this and stamp it on here and write about how we all have to get new glasses. And then after that, we went to a place near us what is it called? It's like a nursery, I guess. And they sell rocks and stuff like that. And my daughter needed rocks to do an art project with her kids at school that she teaches. And so we went in there and he was just so sweet about it. You know, at first I went in there, I said, I'm looking for some rocks. And I said, like these here, you know, and I pointed to him. He says, oh, those are expensive, you know. I said, well, okay, you know. And then I explained to him that, you know, my daughter's a teacher. She needed rocks to paint. And so he said, well, if you go back here, you know, look around, see what you find. I said, okay, fine. So we went back there. We picked out, you know, I don't know, 15, 20 rocks, something like that. They're only, you know, they're like that big. Little, you know, rocks that they're going to paint. And so he came up to us and I said, okay, I said, we have rocks here. I said, you know, do you want me to go back to the office, to pay for them? And he says, oh, no, it's on me. And I thought, there are just very nice people in the world still, you know. It was very nice of him to give us the rocks for free. I know it seems odd, but, you know, when you're in this for a business, you know, he's a landscaper and does this for a business. So it was just very sweet. And I said, oh, are you sure? And he says, oh, yeah, I'm sure. It's to help kids. It's for, you know, a school project. Go ahead and take them. So that was very nice. And we also went to Cracker Barrel. So I have that to put in here. And so this is my stuff that goes in here. So I just clip it in here just to save it, because if I don't get to it today, I have stuff in here that I know I'm going to use, okay? Then of course I have my tired lady here, and then I'm also gonna put this clip art because I think it's freaking hilarious. And I'm pretty much all of these except itchy. I'm not itchy. But that's gonna go down here. So I'm gonna stick that in here. And I'm also going to stick this in here to remind me that I need to start drinking my peppermint tea again, because that's supposed to help with relaxation and all that good stuff. So I'll keep my stamp here. Yeah, so let's go back to here. So that's how I do it. This morning I've been working on these spreads. Well, I worked on this spread here, these spreads here. Now I'm gonna start working on these, planning out my pages. And I cannot thank you enough for sticking it out with me through this series. I'm so thankful for your sweet, sweet comments. And I'm glad that I've been able to inspire some of you and give you some ideas, and give you kind of, you know, an inside look into how I do what I do. I really have a passion for journaling, especially in this style. I really enjoy doing it, and I want to share that, you know. And I will definitely share the Fauxbonichi journalers group in the description box below, because without them I wouldn't even be on YouTube. So a very huge shout out to the Fauxbonichi journalers group and all the ladies on there that encouraged me to start a YouTube channel. I've had so much fun doing it. I love doing it. And I love helping, you know, where I can help. Hopefully I'm being helpful. That's my goal. So thank you so much again for all your time. And I'll catch you next time. I'm not sure if it will be on a flip or a ramble session. I'm not sure which. But, oh, I also want to mention again as well, if you have any questions at all, any questions about the Fauxbonichi, how I do things, where I got this, what I do for that, please feel free to leave them below. I do reply to my comments. I appreciate your comments, and so I do reply to them. So again, I will catch you next time. Thanks.